brews, and banter.
Hey, Frank.
I guess we're starting here, Roman.
We are starting. And hello, Jim.
Hey, how are you?
We don't have a hit on us, do we? Like, are we good?
No, you don't. Not yet, anyway.
Okay. All right. So we got to behave.
We'll see how the night goes.
All right.
What's the criteria for this?
Don't you worry.
We'll know.
Yeah. Well, no, you won't know. You never know.
So a couple or an episode ago, a couple episodes back, my friend Jessica was here. She was joining us for a podcast with friends. And today, your friend Jim's here.
Yes, this is my friend Jim.
Absolutely.
I met Jim, the non-Italian, in 1992. That's how far back we go. And then we were disconnected for a while.
We were, but I think the better story is how we met.
How did you meet?
I'm glad you asked that, Roman. I've been wanting to tell this story for a while. So back in 1992, there was a company coming to town. At the time, we had not seen the likes of anything like a Home Depot or a Lowe's here in Syracuse. And a company by the name of Builder Square was coming to town. They were owned and operated by Kmart at the time. And I interviewed for a position as the inventory control manager. And a gentleman by the name of Ray Robert gave me a shot as the HR manager instead of the inventory manager. And I did a lot of the hiring and a lot of the training for the store, and it was a good time. One of the things we noticed when we came to town and when Builder Square got here is that we didn't receive any applications from a company called Chase Pickin. Chase Pickin at the time was owned and operated by Wegmans. You're familiar with them? Great company. And what a great place to work. It really was. So we didn't receive any applications from Chase Pickin, which was a competitor.
Chase Pickin and Wegmans were always the same building, right?
They were in the same property, the same property, which Bob Wegmans owned all the property. And boy, did he charge himself some serious rent. Anyway, we were open for probably about 6 to 8 months before I received my first application from a gentleman from Chase Pickin. And his name was Rich. And I hired Rich. He came with a lot of experience, and we needed that at the time. And Rich came to my office one day, and he says, "Hey," he says, "I've been really having a good time here, and this is a great company." He goes, "I got a friend over at Chase Pickin." Yeah, his name's Frank. Like,
he's a dickhead, but he's a good guy,
right? I was soon to find that out. So Rich comes into my office, and he says, he says, "My buddy Frankie," he says, "he wants to come over and work with us." And I says, "Really?" I said, "I could always use the help." I says, "Well, you tell Frank when you talk to him and to get a hold of me, and we'll see what we can do." He says, No, man, I'll call him right now. He picks up the phone, and he calls over to Chase Pickin, and he gets Frank on the phone, on speakerphone. He says, "Hey, Frank, it's Rich." He says, "You're on speakerphone with Jim, the HR guy here at Builder Square." He says, "Hey, Jim, how you doing?" I say, "Hey, Frank, how you doing? Rich tells me you want to come over." He says, "Yeah." He says, "He really likes it over there." I says, "Yeah." I says, "Well, I'll tell you what, why don't you get a hold of me when you got some free time? We'll set something up. We'll get together and talk." He says, "Okay, thanks, bye." That's where it ended. Right?
This is his recollection.
This is not a recollection.
Were you sober when he called you?
This is exactly
Chances are I was not. By the way.
The story gets... The next day, I receive a phone call. "Jim, call line 1. Pick it up. "Hey, this is Jim. How can I help?" "Yeah, this is Bob. I'm the HR manager for Chase Pickin." He says, "I just want to tell you how unprofessional I think you are by recruiting my people while they're on the clock working for me." I said, "Excuse me?" He says, "Yeah, I understand you had a conversation with one of my associates yesterday while they were working on the clock, and you tried to recruit them to come to work for you."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Well, Bob," I said, "I think I would be more concerned as to why your people want to leave as to why I'm trying to recruit them. I'll take the call under advisement. Have a good day."
Yeah.
And I hung up.
I would have completely put that on Rich, by the way. I would have no, Rich called him. I didn't do it.
Well, listen, it was right there at the moment. I had to answer this guy. He was really calling me out. And I was, Rich to the back office, Rich to the back. I got him back there. I go, "Hey, what's up with this guy you did?
Yeah.
What happened?" I said, "I just got called out by the HR manager." "What, serious?" "Yeah." So he used it as leverage. He went to them. He whined a little bit. "Yeah, if I don't get any more money, I'm going to quit." So they gave him a little more money, and he stayed. He stayed for a little while because eventually he ended up coming to work for us, and that's how we met. I actually ended up forgiving him for doing that to me. And I hired him. And a little bonus to that story is probably 6 years later, I was sitting across from Bob Lyons, or Bob asking him for a job.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to work for Chase Pickett afterwards.
Oh.
I went to work for Chase Pickett as a manager, and I sat across from the guy who called me out. He knew me, and this is one of those, what I refer to as a George Bailey moment. You've seen the movie It's a Wonderful Life?
Mm-hmm.
You've seen the
Yeah.
These are George Bailey moments that I think about, because Bob, the HR manager for Chase Pickett, at that point could have said to the regional manager who was recruiting me, we don't want this guy. Mm-hmm. And here's why, right? So Bob, instead of doing that, made a difference in my life at that moment in time. And he never brought that up. He knew who I was, and I knew who he was. Mm-hmm. I was wondering if I would even had a shot at this job, because when we first met, we never really officially met, but he didn't like me too much for that reason alone. And I ended up getting the job with Chase Pickett. I was the first person that was ever hired outside of the company into a management role. Everybody had always moved up into that company. So I had to overcome that when I first started, but eventually it became one of the greatest places that I've worked for to date. Mm-hmm. It was a great
I wish I would have been around then, because I would have called you and recruited you.
Well, thank you for that.
That's how Bob likes that. Yeah. But we never talked money, so how can I use that as leverage?
I don't even know what you did.
Because the story didn't happen.
Listen, I can only tell you that the story has not changed since that day with me.
How about the other story you had? Remember that one time I punched you in the arm?
No, I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
I don't.
We had this competition in the back for some reason. It was me and Rich and someone else.
It's coming back. Yeah.
And he's like, no one's going to hurt me. Punch me in the arm. And I punched him so fucking hard in the arm.
Frank's a tough guy. Yeah, he was the guy back then. You just
we did stuff like that too when we were 12.
Yeah, 11-year-old.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, what the fuck, Jim? I
was 21 and 22. And...
No. He was immature. I didn't say you were.
Oh, okay.
I need a code.
You're a victim.
Yeah.
You see, the hit's on you now, buddy.
No. I said he was a victim.
It doesn't matter. You already fucked up.
You're the one who hit him. You reminded him that you hit him. Now he's going to be like, I didn't remember that. Now the hit is on you. By the way, I met you a couple of times. I met Jim. First time was at Lock 1. We did like an event there, whatever.
Yeah.
And then second time, recently, we were at the mall at Bullfinch Brewery. And so we're like just hanging out.
You guys are fucking besties, right? I'm the only out here.
You guys.
We can only hope.
Frank was nice enough to have my dad and I stop over really quick. And,
what a great time
it was nice to see you guys. And I asked Frank if you could be. Well, no, Frank said we can have Jim on if you want. I said absolutely. Can we ask him for something? He's like, what? I was like, can he wear a sports jacket with a gold chain, with a slick back hair like that? Show them your.
He's got the borrowed.
He's got the Brews and Banter.
That's right.
Gaudy ring on.
Yes.
It fits you.
He had the sunglasses on. Earlier.
It's nothing to be.
Well, I told him to put it on your pinky.
Well, I thought about that.
Because that's what mafias do, right?
Well, I don't know.
There's actually there's this theory, or not theory, but the thing that I believe is people who wear pinky rings, I don't trust them. So it's just like, and I told.
I feel the same way about me.
I don't blame you. I don't trust him either.
Yeah, after the research I did, I wanted to know where I was going.
You'll have to tell me what you researched.
Yeah,
you probably know more than I do.
One of the other theories they have is that we drink beer on this podcast, and I'm currently out. And
let's
brought this beer.
So help yourself to that, Frank.
Well, Roman needs some too.
So
here, try that one. Or you got to pour out of that? I don't know what you guys do.
I don't know what's happening.
Well, share that one.
Somebody gonna have to give me beer.
Yeah.
You guys drank one already?
Yeah, that's what we do.
Oh, okay.
You brought the beer. Do you know anything about this beer?
I don't. I know that my brother, Bill, turned me on to this. He's a recovering alcoholic. Right, Bill? Anyway, so he hasn't had a drink in over
Let me see what
a year and a half
find.
or something. I'm pretty proud of him. He's doing good.
That's good. It's a big.
Is he recovering alcoholic?
Listen. I don't know how you define an alcoholic. I always define an alcoholic as somebody who's dependent on it. Mm-hmm. Gets up in the morning and trust me, I know a couple of alcoholics. I don't think he was. I think my brother and I, we loved our alcohol. We loved our beer. We're DWI free. We haven't lost a job as a result of it. And I guess they call that functioning alcoholics. I don't know.
If it's not a problem, it's not a problem.
It's not. It was never a problem.
Yeah.
We just really liked it.
Yeah.
I think we were pretty close to what you guys are.
I think
that's what we do. It's just fun. I think I could go without it. Yeah.
Right. I think if you responsibly drink, I don't think that's an alcoholic. Like you said, you have to be dependent on it, right? Like,
correct.
You wake up like, fuck, I need a drink.
Right. Yeah.
So
this is your favorite beer, right?
It's one of them. Yeah. It's just
they're from Freeport, Maine, and I don't see about some of these breweries on their websites. There's like no about us. I tried to
see.
They actually sell it.
Launch is a finback whale that was first spotted by their team along the Maine coast in 1982. She has what looks like a bite taken out of the fin.
Oh, so she was what was for lunch?
Lunch.
Oh,
I've gone whale watching in Massachusetts and Maine, and there were some whales that have markings from either a bite or propeller damage, and they have like nicknames based on that.
I saw him petting a whale today on some Instagram video. The
Ooh.
whale's like on the side of the boat, and there's people like petting it.
Mm.
I don't really know. It had all these scales, all those weird fucking barnacles and shit on it. But
By the way, this was a gift from Frank.
you gotta take the can out and put it back in.
Oh yeah. This.
You gotta accentuate the banana.
So there's no banana. And
There's no banana.
And then when you see Jim, you get a banana.
All right.
So you were saying they sold this somewhere, Jim?
Trader Joe's.
Oh, okay.
Trader Joe's.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. I haven't seen it like at Wegman. I mean, you've seen Wegman's beer selection.
I haven't seen it.
Trader Joe's is not that way?
No, Trader Joe's is, I think they're owned by Aldi's. Have you ever been to Trader Joe's?
Yeah, once or twice. Like,
it's pretty, and I got to tell you something. I'm an Aldi's fan. Big time.
But Trader Joe's also?
Trader Joe's, yeah. It's a similar store to Aldi's, although kind of some more unique items. I guess I would have to
I feel like Trader Joe's is more like a
bougie,
hipsterish bougie. Yeah.
Hipster doofus. Hipster doof.
One time, my wife and I were in line at Trader Joe's, and the cashier is trying to like engage into conversation with customers in front of us, but there's like no eye contact or anything, so nothing like helped him to engage. And then we come up, and he's got these long hair, and he's like, "Can I ask you a question, guys?" We're like, "Yeah." It's like, you ever been in a dream and you feel like a real thing, but you're dreaming, but you really feel like it's real, and then you realize you open your eyes and you were actually sleeping? And I'm like, fuck.
I would have just dropped my stuff and walked out.
I was like, yeah, man, all the time.
What kind of acid is the
Yeah.
He really wanted to ask that. I think he wanted to ask customers in front of us, but...
So smell this and see if you can tell what kind of beer it is. You should know.
Mosaic Hop Single IPA.
Because you read the fucking can.
I did not. You said you should know, and you know how I have reaction to the Mosaic hops.
Is that what you're having a reaction?
No, like how I would get that burn or whatever.
Does it burn you?
Yeah. I'm gonna swell up. What the fuck did you do to me?
I look at what happened to me.
I'm just kidding.
Well, he's talking about his reaction when he pees. It burns when he pees.
It burns when I pee.
Seriously. So this is I gotta get better friends. Anyway, so you wouldn't normally drink something like that, is it?
No, I enjoy it.
Oh, you do?
There was a period when we drank so many IPAs, and I was like, Frank, I'm getting this like weird feedback from all these IPAs, like it's burning.
Yeah, it's like it's in your throat, but like I don't think it's the Mosaic. I think it's the freshness, right?
Oh yeah, someone told us how fresh the
if it didn't sit long. So because then we just kind of quit drinking IPAs, and we never had a sour before, and we started drinking a lot of sours. And you had one of those the other day, Bullfinch. He was not impressed with Key Lime.
No, not at all. You really have to have a palate for some of these beers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Well, hang out with us, Jim. You'll get a palate.
Not if you're going to give me that lime stuff.
I won't. I'll give you a palate of lime stuff.
He'll give you a palate full.
I do this all day.
I don't know how limey it might be, or slimy.
So you were mentioning, Jim, about some research you did on Roman.
Oh boy.
And how we met, Armenian, anyway.
Yeah,
In
you know,
92.
listen, when you guys asked me to be a guest on the show, I was really excited.
Wait, you
about
asked him?
Well, you said
I didn't ask him. I thought you asked him.
No, you
He
said
just fucking showed up.
you said we could have Jim. I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Can you ask him to be on? And do you think he'll be?
Listen, I got a text message. I'll show the camera right now.
Well, at first he's like, "Can you put pasties on?" I'm like, "We can't."
I didn't.
Frozen Vander Coaster pasties.
You know, I got really excited and obviously really nervous too, because this is out of my wheelhouse. I've never done anything like this.
Yeah.
I've watched you guys, you know, from the beginning and definitely started to listen to you more than I did originally. And you guys put on a really good show.
Thanks.
And I wanted to have stuff to talk about, right? I wanted to come in here and not look like an idiot. And when I found out where you're from, and I know, you know, Frank and telling the stories and everything, I said, geez, I wish I would know a little bit more about, you know, you, where you came from and how you came to this country and how your family is on the other half of the globe. I have a 7-mile radius, and I call it my bubble. And I absolutely love my 7-mile radius. I have no desire to have a house in Florida, no desire to really travel all that much. I'd like to take a vacation here or there, but one of the fondest places we go to is Myrtle Beach. It brought me back to when you know the kids were young and we went there. But the only reason why my bubble's 7 miles instead of 4 is because my son lives here in Baldwinsville, New York.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, and I live in Liverpool. My daughters live in Liverpool. I absolutely love my home.
Mm-hmm.
I like my job, you know, but I have no desire. I'm very, very content. So when I meet somebody like you who's really traveled the globe and come to this country, I'm always intrigued about the story.
When I lived in Boston, it surprised me how many people I met like that were just content and happy in their space, their community, their neighborhood. So when they would tell me that they live 20 minutes outside of Boston and they're, I don't know, 50s, 60s, 70s and said, never been to Boston. I was like, you've never been to, you can see it from your balcony.
Right. Yeah.
You've never been to that city. All your life you lived here.
Yeah.
And it shocked me where I'm like, I want to see what's beyond. Like, I need to like.
And you caught him in a good, because he's usually gone every other fucking weekend.
Not anymore.
He's busy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's busy fucking vacationing.
No.
I mean, but he just did what he does. You mean from the contracting to the real estate and this, right? I mean, when do you have time for you? When do you go out to dinner with your wife?
We both work a lot, but
yeah, I know what she does.
We do go out. We have our date nights, or we'll have lunch together. We have sometimes we'll wrap up work and we'll watch TV together. But we love to travel, so we both work to travel, and we both have like our own hobbies. Like we talked about martial arts, and so I get to do that, hunting, outdoor stuff. I like to backpack in the winter.
You still do that? You still do that in the martial arts? You work out?
He does it all together. Like he goes on vacation in backpacks and he does martial arts when he's there.
Yeah.
And he hunts.
It's
all fucking wrapped into one.
Yeah, so I Jura chop the trees. I Jura chop the trees to make a spear, and then I hunt with a spear while backpacking.
And
you're full of shit now.
He shucks that bark off the spear.
How else do you get hands like this?
They're supple according to Jim.
Yeah, they're pretty soft.
You should have seen. He was like, "Are you sure you do contracting?
You're soaking palm olive.
What's this?
You're soaking your fingers in palm olive."
Yeah.
You look like a rabbit, shaking up the ass.
A 70s kid.
Yeah, you're a 70s kid, right?
I am. I just watched a YouTube video on the history of the fillet of fish before I came here.
I don't.
I'm I'm addicted to YouTube. That's what I do now. I don't even watch TV anymore. Although I do have a pretty rigid routine with my bride. Of course, we've been married for 34 years. Got married in 1990. And every day it's 5 o'clock news till 6:30 when Lester Holt comes on, and then it's Family Feud, and then it's
fall asleep watching it?
No. Well, we kiss each other goodnight and we go to our separate rooms. That's the story I was telling.
He's got a separate room story that's pretty fucking good.
I mean, when you have a lot of room in the house.
We have a 5-bedroom house. You wouldn't. It had an addition put on it before I bought it, In one of the back rooms, we turned into like a master bedroom. We put a deck out back with a sliding glass door. In the other room, which is part of the addition over the garage, is kind of like a makeshift theater room. I have 3 seats in it. You had a big pull-down screen with a projector, but these TVs today, they're throwaways. So just buy a bigger TV, and I mean,
Roman's only familiar with the pull-out ones.
Pull-out TVs with a hole in them?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. For you. Fucking normal for me.
Yeah. Back in the 80s, I used to sell TVs, and a 60-inch TV was $49.99.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
$5,000 for a rear projection 60-inch TV. If you sold it, you made $365.
Wait, that would be projector TV? Or what they call plasma TV?
No, they were projection. Like the rigid screen, like like the Ruffles potato chips.
Yeah.
That's where the screen was like.
Yeah. I had one of those.
Yeah, they're like big fucking.
It's like a
huge refrigerator.
whole unit. Yeah, it's huge.
Now you can get an 80 inch for fucking
difficult life he's been through.
It's hard to travel with a big ass TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just shoved the thing in my back.
Right. So anyway, they're throwaways. You buy a 60-inch TV for $498. Yeah. I mean, seriously. Yeah. Now, what the last one is 98 inches for $14.99 at Costco.
The fuck are you going to do 8-foot TV?
98 inches.
98 inches.
This is 6 foot. I measured it.
$1,499.
I measured it 6 foot.
Did you throw your dick on like a Barbie table?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just multiplied it by 100.
Yeah, we know how your math is.
But yeah, those TVs are relatively inexpensive now. So
yeah, and here's the other thing with TVs. I mean, when you look for a TV, are you a quality guy? I mean, I see you got all this sound equipment.
Yeah, I research.
So you research it, and the pixels and everything, all that matters because you pay more for a TV like that. See, I buy a Walmart TV, a Roku, a Hisense or something like that hanging on the wall.
Hisense isn't bad.
Well, it's not bad, but in other words, it's $300 as opposed to $1,500 for the same size. If you go with
Sony or
UHD, not UHD. What is the most
OLED?
Oh, see, he knows.
Yeah, I was just waiting to see if you could think of
STD.
it.
Well,
he's talking about STD.
OSTD.
I have a friend who works for Ray Lynn's for the last 40 years. He was over the other day explaining the difference between the TVs and that kind of stuff. And, listen, at 56 years old and contacts and everything else like that, I can't see the difference. Give me a TV.
Yeah.
Give me a TV.
The nice thing about OLEDs is the richness of color, and their blacks are really... So they're tiny individual diodes that completely turn off for your blacks.
Hey, what are you, an idiot, Jim?
So there's no light, so you really get vibrant colors. And
back in the when I sold these TVs back in the 80s, they had Mitsubishi was known for that. They had a chemical called scandium oxide. You familiar with that?
No.
All right. Well, let's keep talking. Go ahead.
That's probably what the drones are looking for now in New Jersey.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
Scandium oxide. White or whites and black or blacks. That's what I used to say to sell it.
Yeah.
I didn't really know anything about it. I didn't care. I just knew that tag had a commission on it.
$65.
Yeah. I spent $1,000 on a 26-inch Mitsubishi back then with an oak cabinet. I had to have it.
I think that's 32, and it was like 180.
Oh yeah, it's stupid today.
Our very first flat screen TV, we went from. Do you remember those Sony TVs, like the tube TVs, but they were super heavy. They had a flat screen.
Yep.
But they are
so
right?
Yeah.
XR versions.
32-inch.
Yeah, right.
Silver plastic.
Yep.
Holy shit, those were.
But they were like 3 foot deep.
Yeah. They were heavy, man. We went from that to our very first flat screen TV. I remember till this day. Bought it at Target. Researched for like 2 months to see which one to buy. And Philips has the lower brand, like Magnavox. You remember Magnavox? Mm-hmm. That was our first TV from Target. Opened the cart to get additional discount. That was after taxes was almost $600.
Wait, we give these people credit too?
32.
I don't even know if he's here legally.
32 inches. 32-inch TV. You're excited. Your first flat screen TV, and we're like, man, that thing is like this thick too. It's like
I can relate.
You wish.
Who's this we shit? You got it.
My wife.
You've been with
my
it?
family.
How long you been with it?
My wife and I have been married for 16 years.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And
So half of you.
we've known each other since 2005.
Nice. You sleep in the same bedroom?
Yeah.
You're doing it wrong, man.
Yeah, tell him, Jim.
Yeah.
Sure.
You're doing it wrong.
Well, right now it's good. So
I'll tell you. You want to make it better?
tell me,
I'll tell you.
Jim's secret recipe.
This is the secret recipe to relationship. I'll look right at you and tell you.
Yeah.
34 years I've been married.
I'm gonna look right at you and tell
34 years I've been married to my bride, Chris. I love her. I love
Nice.
you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think. Anyway, so we've had our moments, right? We've had our moments. In fact, we actually decided to take a break for a little while. Not from the trust and the relationship that we had, but from each other. We're getting on each other's nerves, right?
Same here.
We sold our family house to our daughter. I had bought another house when Chase Picken left.
That's what you're in now?
Yeah, they gave me a huge bonus when we left. It was just incredible. That company, I wish they were still here. So I bought another house, I bought a rental property. Anyway, long story short, which is going to be impossible to do. But anyway, my wife went into an apartment for a short period of time. I went into this house that we bought, and we sold our family home to our kids. Well, eventually we realized that we were just spending too much money. We had our date nights. We were still faithful with one another. We realized nobody else wanted us anyway. So I went over there one day and I said, "Hey, honey, why don't we just bring this together and, start pulling our money again and get ready for retirement? And let's stop this foolishness, She's like, all right. She had a little dog. And we were never pet people.
What's the dog's name?
Harley. We were never pet people. My kids never had an animal growing up, and I think I had a dog when I lived in Arizona for a short time. Her name was Lady. She was a German Shepherd, or so my brother tells me.
Female?
He doesn't remember having it.
No, I just don't remember. But
Why did name it Lady if it was a male dog?
I don't know.
It's a joke.
Lady in the I don't know. Lady in the that was a male dog, right?
Yeah.
Who else he got you there?
Right.
Anyway. So I had an issue. The dog was okay. It's a little lopsu. I mean, it doesn't weigh probably
10 pounds.
10 pounds, yeah. And I said, okay. And we've always slept together. And she says, well, Harley's, going to come. I said, okay, I'm going to build Harley a bed that's the size of our bed. She can sleep right up next to you. I'll build stairs to
The
it.
height of your bed.
Height of my bed, right there. We'll fluff it out, do whatever the dog wants. Oh, no. Harley's got to sleep in the bed. Wait a minute. I got to sleep with a dog? Yeah. I said, okay. Well, I wanted this to really work out. I wanted my marriage back. I wanted everything to work out. So I'll tell you what. How about at the foot of your bed on a blanket? Because I have this obsession with my bed. And we talked a little bit about it the other day. That my bed has to be made every day. And I have this strange addiction to like down comforters. Like goose down comforters. Real ones. I don't want the alternative shit. Right? I want the real one. And
Not the synthetic bullshit.
No, exactly. Yeah. And if you've never had one, get one. Because I'll tell you, they keep you cool in the summer and warm in the winter. And it's got to work, right? Because gooses have feathers and they're out in the wild. Geese or whatever they do.
Yeah.
Geese have feathers, right? And
we have down comforter as well. Same.
Right. So I'm really anal about my bed. I want it made every day. And that's one of the things that actually divided us, right? When I met my wife, you walked into her house and whatever you wanted to wear the next day at school was in the laundry room in a heap of pile. You had to wash it the night before. And my mom, she did laundry when I got home from school. So my clothes were folded. So these are things, whether it was you take your shoes off when you walk in the house or you don't. Mm-hmm. Mayonnaise, Miracle Whip, right? 1%, 2% milk, things you grow up with.
Mayonnaise and 2%.
And, I'm going to stop short of saying my wife's a slob, and she just didn't care about that stuff. And I did. I cared very much that the bed was made every day. And it became a bone of contention for us to the point where, listen, it's important to me and I need you to understand that. So,
and sorry, to be clear, he's not saying his wife had to make the bed.
No, not at all.
Whoever last out makes the bed.
Last out. Yeah. In fact, if we were home on a weekend and she got out, I would go right in and make it. I even took that burden off of her. But, when I came home from work after leaving so early and her getting, it wasn't made, I would be like, hey, 30 seconds. 30 seconds if you time it, right? Mm-hmm. Anyway, so one of the things she agreed upon was that. We agreed that Harley would sleep at the foot of the bed. So I usually have one or two of these comforters on deck. I mean, they're in a box, ready to go, because eventually, after time, as ridiculous as this sounds, the oils in our skin, you can only bleach them so much or wash them so much, they tend to fade a little bit yellow, and I don't like it. I need a bright white hotel. There's not much I said. Anyway, so
we have spare as well.
Yeah, one day I got it was in the summer. I got a brand new comforter. It's time to change the seats. Crispy, brand new sheets, brand new comforter, brand new shams. Now I ironed my shams. I'm not lying. Listen.
Duvet cover?
No. And that's the thing, right? Because you can get different color duvets and that kind of stuff, but it loses its. For me, the down comforter loses that, right? Because you might as well just get a spread.
This is like two fucking Martha Stewart's talking.
I know, right?
Who's just sham?
Brews
and self-respecting
brews and banter, right? We're going to talk about beer.
We put a duvet cover on ours.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I just like the feel of the cup. Anyway, so
you like the geese on the skin.
The geese is right. So one day the grandkids are coming over. I got 3 grandsons. They're awesome. They're cool, but they're a little wild, right? And little Harley's got a little bit of an anxiety thing, so. Got a brand new comforter, brand new sheets, brand new shams. Bed is crisp, and the kids are coming over. So Chris decides to throw Harley on the bed and shut the bedroom door, right? Which is okay. I mean, Harley's, she's allowed on the bed, the blanket's there, whatever. Kids are there for a couple of hours. They're going nuts and wild, and it's a good thing Harley's in the other room. So the kids decide to get ready to leave. They haven't left yet. Mm-hmm. So I go into the bedroom and I open up the door, and there's Harley. And she's sitting there next to a complete and total puddle of piss. So, and it's not piss that's really kind of drained through the comforter because they're geese feathers, or goose feathers, whatever you want to call them. It is sopped in a puddle. Like if you tapped it, you could just
would jiggle.
It would jiggle. I mean, it's not moving.
Splash.
It's not moving, and it's my brand new comforter, and it is a gallon of piss. I have no idea how this little dog pissed this much. But whatever it was holding in reserve, it let go. Mm-hmm. And I'm just freaking out. Now, meanwhile, the kids hear me in the other room. I'm like, what the? And all of a sudden, I look at the cameras in my security, and the kids are scattering like cockroaches. Get in the car, get in the car. Because they know they know, right? Chris is like, oh my God, what happened? So meanwhile, I'm ticked, right? So I discover that it really didn't go through to the sheets, but it doesn't matter. It's ruined. I don't want it anyway.
In your head now, yeah.
It's over. So this is at 6 o'clock on a Sunday night. I got to be to work at 5 a.m. I get up at 4. I put everything in the car. I soak up the piss with a towel. I put everything in the car, and I go to the closest laundromat. I put a gallon of bleach in there, all the smelly stuff, everything you can do. 3 hours later, because it takes forever to dry these things. Oh, yeah. Right? I'm sitting there. It's now 10 o'clock. I come home. I make my bed. Meanwhile, my wife knows not to come near me, right? So I go to bed that night after the bed is made. It's, and again, once you go to the laundromat, you know how many people dry their stuff, and it just doesn't, I don't care how much good stuff you put in to smell it. It doesn't smell right? So no, I'm just, what the heck? I wake up the next morning, my wife's in a pretzel on the couch because she knows not to come to bed. And I'm like, all right, I'm over this, right? We'll figure it out. Well, fast forward a couple of days, and Harley's on the bed again, and she's licking her paw raw. All of a sudden, I look down and I say, "You gotta be kidding me!" She's now bleeding on my new comforter. Now there's blood, right? So now I could clone this dog with the DNA she's left on my comforter. I'm over it. I'm done.
Clone it.
I'm done. I'm so upset. I'm angry now because it's important to me. Now, people say, Jim, no, really, you made bed. No, I'm not going to trade it for the health of my kids. Yeah, right? Yeah. Oh, well, what's important? It's important to me. I don't know why. It just is. And, I wouldn't trade it for the health of anybody, right? I don't care. But the fact of the matter is important. So now I'm mad at Chris. She wouldn't let me make a bed that was the height. She doesn't make the dog mind, whatever. So I got to have a conversation with her. She comes home from work that day, and I'm ready to go into the other room. So I sit her down and I says, Chris, I got to talk to you. I said, I'm starting to get mad at you. I'm starting to resent you and get angry. And, this is your dog. And, listen, I feed the dog. I let the dog out when you're not here. I take care of the dog like it's ours. But it's your dog, and it's not only pissing over my brand new comforter, our brand new comforter, but now it's bleeding on it too. I can't get the blood out. I'm not taking it to the thing again. I'm going to have to go on to the ones that I have on deck, right? Yeah.
You show up with that, they'll call 911.
Right. So I said, listen, I Googled it, which I did. Couples
have separate bedrooms. A lot of stars do it. And a lot of people, even now that I've discovered a lot of people that I know. So I said to Chris, I said, we live in a 5-bedroom house. I said, honey, maybe it's better if, at least since you want to stay with Harley that instead of me, that that I take the back bedroom and I'll make it my own, right? And everything else we do together, right? Everything else we do didn't change, just our sleeping arrangements. And I just think it's better. And let's give it a shot, see if it works. A lot of people do it. And she looks at me and she goes, well, I'll go into the back bedroom. You don't have to. You just stay in the room that we're in. And I mean, it was yours. It was technically, I guess, mine when she came back in.
You can stay there with your stupid fucking comforters.
Plus you got a stack you piss off of.
Oh, well, yeah.
Balcony.
Yeah, it's got its own master outdoor bathroom. so I got to tell you something. Best decision we ever did.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we love each other more. Everything is better after this. Everything is better.
Well, good. You figured out what works for you guys.
Figured out what would work for everybody. I'm telling you, give it a shot.
Yeah.
The dog's probably happy too.
Probably is. It knows I don't like it.
Go piss on his bed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you should.
Well,
you should be like, here's your down comforter.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to fucking piss on it.
Fucking do a big steamer in your little fucking napping bed.
Anyway, so it worked for us. And you're like you said, it did work for us. And it's working for us, right? Even when she doesn't feel good and she goes into her room, and your guy's night, I don't know. It's there's something about it. There's something about having your own space after so many years of being with somebody and loving them, as unconditionally as we humanly possibly can, and having that separate space. That separate space are really
fart as loud as you want, all kinds of
just any.
Only one condition is the comforter with the made bed.
Yeah, but her bed doesn't be made.
No,
his bed.
I said, shut the door.
Unconditionally with one condition.
Exactly. I got that.
Right. On one condition.
How old is Harley?
7.
7?
Yeah.
Does she ride?
That dog's gonna live another 20 years, man.
Do you have a Harley?
I do.
Fuck yeah, nice. What kind?
Yeah. I have a 2006 Heritage Softail.
Softail.
He's also got a vet.
Well, I sold a vet.
You did?
I did. I've had 3 vets, and one of the things that I love, in fact, it brings me to my next topic, is my shopping addiction. I have a shopping addiction.
For comforters.
Well, for everything. It doesn't matter what it is.
Sham.
It's sunglasses. I got to tell you something. I have 30 pairs of sunglasses. I don't care whether they're $30 or $3. I buy them.
Check out Jim's sneakers.
I saw
them. Fucking new.
That's another thing. 7 pair on deck right now. Doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Listen, I know. I've got a shopping addiction. And that's, when Frank just mentioned this thing about the Corvette, I love the hunt. The hunt for me is everything. Corvettes are a dime a dozen.
You mean finding the one exactly you want?
Well, at any point in time, we don't want to get the fever, right? But Corvettes are one car that are a dime a dozen. And I love the Corvette for one reason. You see it coming from a mile away and you can tell it's a Corvette. Yeah. You can't tell a BMW from an Audi, from a Kia today, from a Jaguar. But you can tell a Corvette from a mile away. I can tell you what a Corvette is. And I love a Corvette. I've had 3 of them, and I love the hunt. I love a deal. See, I got to get a deal on everything. I got to get a deal, and then once I get a deal, I've got it's like my drug. Yeah. I got the deal. Now I want to make a couple bucks, sell it. So I don't care about. I don't covet anything except for my.
I'll tell you something. I played around a little bit with cars, but that is probably the only reason I dislike Corvette.
Because everybody can tell what it is.
Everybody has fucking Corvettes. Like, I feel like a Corvette should be... I feel like Corvette should be one of those special vehicles, like you hit your midlife crisis or whatever. Like, it's a special vehicle you buy to enjoy. But when, when you're at the traffic light and grandma pulls up on one and fucking some other guy pulls up on another one, like, everybody fucking got Corvettes. Like,
No, that never happened.
I lose that.
I lose that. This is fucking Armenian shit right here. Everybody, Armenian.
Corvette's a head turner. I lose a Corvette and people turn head.
I will tell you what. There's only one Corvette I like. And it's a 1967 to 1969 Corvettes with the two round ones, 2 round headlights on each side.
Yeah, those are the C1 ones, right?
Is that C1?
Yeah.
But
C2 78.
The classic Corvettes.
Yeah.
Those are fucking beautiful.
Ones, yeah. And they're fucking expensive.
Those are fucking beautiful.
Yeah, they look like little squares. Because they're
round looks like a little square.
No, the whole car, the whole shape of the car.
Oh, okay.
Like the back, it's got that nice aerodynamic slope down.
Yeah, you like your rear end sloped a little bit, right?
Like yours.
Yeah.
Let me show you. You might like that, actually.
You know,
I
like,
don't. I don't. I like.
You gonna get another one?
You like
I will.
modern?
I will. I like the modern look. I think I'm going more for the older 70s next time.
I'm not a big fan of carbon.
I liked yours. You had a red one.
78.
Restored.
Yeah, 78.
That was nice.
But it's carbureted.
No, I'm wrong.
Like
I'm wrong on the year. It's not. It's before 1969. Hold on.
64? I think 60 or 62.
The one with the round headlights.
Yeah, you can. They did it for the Mustang and the Camaro, all these things.
I actually thought about building a car with my son, just to have like a car that we build together. And when he's older, will be his car. Or I die, it's something he'll remember. Like, oh, I built this car with my dad.
How old's your son?
He's 12 now.
Oh, cool.
But I wanted to start on this project when he was 10. And
you can build something that you guys can fucking travel in since you do so much of that shit.
Well, I
Build a
really love 1969 Camaros.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fuck, they're expensive. And I didn't know this. So I wanted to start from scratch, okay? Like from scratch.
Like frame off all that?
Everything. So
lots of money.
I found
Like Tim Allen at Home Improvement.
Yeah.
1959 Camaro. That's the body style I like.
That's Corvette.
That's
I'm sorry, Corvette.
Yeah, that's no. It looks like a square, like the body itself.
1959?
Yeah.
Knock it,
So-
get him in the eyes.
I found in Michigan there's a junkyard. They had a Camaro just body. It was probably in the fire. Nothing's there. Just steel, all rusty. It's been out in the weather.
Yeah.
And I call him like I saw online it says 7,000. I'm like, probably 700. There's no way this junk will be 7,000. So I call the guys like, yeah, 7,000. You better get it soon. It's gonna be gone.
Yeah. Well, that's why they could charge 7,000.
I'm like, 7,000 is not 700. He's like, no fucking way. I'm like, so like, get the fuck out of here. I go on eBay, look up these Camaros restored. They go up to $150,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God.
Years.
It's going to cost me a lot of money to restore these. So I had to kind of crush that dream and maybe go with something else. And I don't know, maybe.
You ever watch
We'll see.
Graveyard Cars?
No.
Can you pass me my phone?
This guy, Graveyard Cars, I forget his name, but all he works on.
Is he in Canada?
No, I think he's in like Illinois or some like Wisconsin area, but he does all like Mopar, like Barracudas and shit like this, and he knows like fucking bolt numbers and like he there's nothing he doesn't know about them, and it takes him years to do, but he does it. He restores them right back to where they were the day they came out of the factory, and better, because you get those cars back then, they weren't, the door gaps weren't always perfect and shit like that, but he's a fucking meticulous man. I forget his name, but it's a pretty cool show to watch. And they'll have like wrecked cars with fucking frame damage. They'll straighten the frames out. They'll keep numbers matching shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
my brother-in-law just told me about a guy. He lives in Delaware, and he met a guy, Corvette, same thing. $400 to tell you what's wrong with your Corvette. He walked through this thing list by list. This is aftermarket.
For show? For show purposes?
No,
Like show
just
me?
he bought it. He bought it for like $10,000, and he's putting some money into it and that kind of stuff. And the guy told him what he needed, about $10,000 worth of improvements to kind of get it up. But he says then it's a $40,000 car.
That's right.
So,
nice. You like more modern sports cars?
I do, and to be perfectly honest with you, I want it done. So in other words, I get your dream to work on it with your son. I get zero desire to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I want it done. Mm-hmm. But I often wonder more so today when you look at even these kids and the collectibles, and we talk about, vinyl records, cars, even furniture, antiques, right? Mm-hmm. Does it mean anything to our kids, right? I don't think a Camaro 69 or 72 means anything to my 33-year-old kid. They don't, So what happens next, right? You and I want it, right? Because it brings us back to our youth, and we remember those cars, and how cool would it be to have the car that we dreamed about to have when we were 16 at 60, right? But furniture, antiques that used to, in a certain period of time went for hundreds and thousands of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
These kids today are IKEA. I want a new one tomorrow. Throw that one away.
Mm-hmm.
Records, they're coming back. But even if you talk to my brother Bill, who's an avid record collector, you'll see that even the record industry, where it's almost peaked, if it hasn't already, and is starting to kind of go down. And he'll tell you what's coming back is CDs. CDs right now are coming back. Yeah.
Should have kept my collection.
When we talk about knowledge of the cars and knowledge of the beers and everything, I mean, my brother, records, he'll look at a record and he'll tell you exactly what to do with it, how much it's worth, why it's worth that much, and he'll look for a little sticker or he'll look for a word on the back. Oh my God, it's got this song on it. Go ahead and say. Yeah. I mean, he's a genius when it comes to records, but I wonder where it's going because he's got this, I mean, I'll call it $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 record collection. Seriously, who wants it?
Right.
Well, they still
someone buy like a store of some sort.
They still make records today.
They do, but in other words, the records you get today at Walmart, number one, are $30 for the same record that we paid $6 for or $4 for back in the 70s and 80s.
Well, inflation difference.
Exactly, but it's just mass produced.
But you still have it. You still have it 40 years later. These records you're talking about, or 60 years. I mean. Yeah, and none of them are considered original, right? They're just not. I guess maybe new artists are. And you're kind of an expert in like these hair metal bands, music, right?
No, I'm not an expert. I love. Love.
2 steps away from blowing Gene Simmons.
No, but I won't pay the ticket prices anymore. Honest to God, I mean, I love, REO Speedwagon. I love Journey. I love Kiss. And, I'm not paying the ticket prices anymore, and it's not really about the money. I think it's more about principle. I would rather go to Olive Garden and lay down a $400 bill and have a night with my family and have a memory than go to and sit, literally 30 rows back at an REO Speedwagon concert. I can't pay the prices anymore. So it's stupid.
You pay $400 at Olive Garden with your family. You have this great fucking night planned.
Order whatever you want.
But just before you go, your bed's not made. What's going to happen?
Something has to give.
Yeah.
Harley shits. What are you going to do?
Yeah, reservations are canceled. We got to reschedule. We got to reschedule.
I think it's some of the things that people value. Like you were talking about classic cars.
Yeah.
I can't get rid of that feeling sitting in the old school V8. You press on the gas, the whole car goes, whoa. Yeah. What do you replace it with nowadays? Bzz, bzz, bzz.
Yeah.
You
wind it like a pull start.
You know what I mean? Like it's like, or like shifting, like driving a manual.
Yeah.
Like when you shift that gear, it almost like you feel it. Like you feel the whole, especially with the older cars, not like the newer ones. Mm-hmm. Where you almost can throw the shifter, it goes into a gear, but you really have to like press that clutch all the way down, really shift that gear, really feel those gears like changing, you're accelerating. It's like this rush. Again, I'm getting excited.
I felt that.
But like it's how do you like replace
that?
Well,
it's definitely memories. Like you're saying how maybe your kid wouldn't like a car this old. I get all of that piece of it. But maybe your kid would like a car that old if it's a memory he has with you riding in it when he was younger.
Or building with his father or like whatever, that, right? I
mean, it's not for everybody for sure.
So some things will have like sentimental value and have those meanings. Some people enjoy going to... I went to Pink's concert recently. Mm-hmm. I thought that was the best concert I've ever been to.
She's a great show,
I couldn't believe it.
What did you pay for your ticket?
I don't remember.
Yeah, you did.
I had to buy it so far in advance.
How would you pay for your ticket?
It's not mafia money you can pull out of your
inside. Everybody knows what they
hold spend on everything. I don't remember.
Then you have too much money.
If I had to... I wish.
Then you have too much money.
I wish. From the travel budget.
I'll tell you. From the minute your grandfather pulls a quarter out of your ear at 2 o'clock, at 2 years old, you know about your money, right? We all know about our money.
I have to say, if I had to guess, I'd probably spend... my wife's ticket and my ticket together, maybe $600.
That's maybe one ticket. 3/4 of one ticket.
I paid $500 to see REO Speedwagon, row 7.
Uh-huh.
Row 7. I took my brother. I won't do it again. $500. $500 to see REO Speedway for 2 hours. Come on. And the same ticket was $13. And I get they can't make the money that they used to make, right? With streaming and record sales and that kind of stuff. But come on, $500. Count the amount of heads that are there. I mean, what's right is right. I mean, figure it out.
I'm sure it was expensive. And
you definitely paid more than that.
When I have this pressure from my wife, like, don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
Make sure you get the good
It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
You can drop us.
We had
$600.
We had primary seats we want, secondary seats, and the third option. You know what I mean? So it's just like any of these in that order. And I remember opening the map, getting into a queue, and as soon as I was permitted to buy, all these blue dots started disappearing, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, I'm definitely going to miss these ones. I'm just going to go for the second option.
Yeah.
But regardless, the kind of show she puts out, she's flying everywhere and singing and presentation's amazing. It's one time, like I'm probably not going to do this ever again. But you have that experience.
But someone like REO, where you're paying this kind of money for tickets, right? Why wouldn't they have some sort of venue with all these people? All these 80s, late 70s.
Well, Styx and Loverboy was there. I mean,
but I mean, like, have it outside, so like you're not paying for the dome or whatever the fuck you gotta pay. Like, have it outside and have it almost like a Woodstock thing, but not with all those dirty fuckers still hanging out.
Right.
But you can have like tens of thousands of people showing up, and they can watch everybody, and then you just split the purse.
Right.
Do you like Broadway shows?
I love Broadway shows. In fact, I just went to see Cinderella over the weekend.
Oh, I
didn't realize there was a couple different versions, though.
I just watched.
The porn one?
No, this one
good.
was from some composers or something from the 60s or something. It wasn't Disney's version.
No.
Let's just say, do you remember The Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
And then there was a spinoff called The Wiz.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one was some other. It was pretty hip. Let's just say that.
I just
When
watched.
the curtain opened, I knew that it was.
Yeah.
I knew there wasn't a Disney.
I just watched Lion King, and that Broadway. And,
I went too. I saw.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Saturday?
No, Tuesday.
Man, that show was
Wasn't that cool?
It exceeded my expectations.
It did.
Like the costumes, the energy, like the singing talent.
Yep.
I was amazed. Even
these Broadway shows that we call them.
Yeah.
Because we go to musicals.
Lion King is national. I mean,
we go to musicals. You're talking some different musicals.
Well, musicals are general, but there's like Broadway shows.
Like Mary Poppins and shit you see down in the fucking city.
Yeah, there's Mary Poppins Broadway probably.
No, I don't know that I've gone to a Broadway. We like the musical ones. Like I forget.
Musicals, they sing in there and they talk.
I'm trying to look. You keep saying the same shit I'm saying. Is it a musical or is it a Broadway show you're watching? Like Broadway, you go to fucking Broadway.
No, Broadway shows are. I mean, they
travel
Broadway to Syracuse.
But musicals travel.
Right. So there's musicals like a general, like shows, like people sing and act. Broadway shows that are from Broadway, but then they travel. So they originate. Like, you ever seen Rent?
Yes,
my favorite.
Yeah,
we went and saw Rent.
I've seen Rent.
Oh no, we saw Stomp.
Oh, we saw Stomp. Is cool. So I've seen Rent probably 5 times.
I've seen Rent and Broadway in New York City, but they also travel. Like they go.
Where would you watch a Broadway Rent in Syracuse?
If they traveled, they would be at Landmark, most likely.
Which they were.
Would they were?
The place I'm talking about with the musicals is down next to
Syracuse Stage or something?
Yeah, that's the
Syracuse Stage. Yeah.
So Broadway wouldn't come to Syracuse Stage?
No, it's too small.
Okay, so I like those ones.
I think
Cinderella was at Syracuse Stage. But
is that Broadway?
No, I think it's local. No, it's just a play.
I might be wrong, but it's not based on venue. It's just if the show originated on Broadway and then they travel, it's called Broadway shows.
I'm traveling to the beer vault.
That's my understanding. But anyways, Lion King was colorful, perfect energy, great capture of the story.
Yeah.
Not all the details are there, obviously. But the way they acted in the beginning, when you have all these animals come out like elephants, you're like, what? My father, who doesn't speak English well or at all, was sitting there, was like at awe, like what the fuck? He's like, I've never seen anything like it. You need help, Frank?
Oh shit!
Yeah, obviously does.
No, I don't want to touch the camera.
Just move it.
You guys are on
Do you
it.
want me to get it for you?
No, see?
What is that one?
Dark. You like dark beer?
No.
That's a porter.
And that's a no.
That water.
Oh, shit.
You want me to get it, Frank? Hold
No,
on.
I got it. Oh, look at that, Jimmy,
That's
Jimmy,
sour.
Jimmy. Jimmy, Cocoa Pop.
I'm good. Listen, now you guys do this all the time. You guys do this every day, every week.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
We mix it up a little
Yeah,
bit.
see, I don't know.
I think, have you had a porter before?
It's dark, heavy.
I think, well, you're going to like it more than that sour. So.
Yeah.
Look, kids, let's watch Jimmy eat a porter or drink a porter. Oh, you're mixing all this shit, too.
Okay, that's good. Oh, good God.
No, this is not that thick.
I think- All right. I wasn't gonna
Yeah,
say
Ben Water makes good stuff.
Anyway, so you guys really have a palate for all of these different flavors.
We're
Well, like-
sophisticated fuckers, Jim.
But
You have to be to drink that stuff. Good Lord. I wish my brother was back to drinking. He would love to come here.
Was he a beer guy?
He was. He was. He loved his beer.
Well, good for him. So he's like on a cleanse that's just been a year and a half.
I think so. Yeah.
Jim, can I say something?
Please.
I really like your clipboard. It's got the calculator on there.
Do you want it? I want it. I would love to give this to you. In fact, as a realtor, you probably need it because you subtract the price of the house with the 6%. And you got to divide that by 2. You figure out everything that you got coming to you. Yeah. I'd like you to have this. If I told you how I got it,
I want.
It's a Chase Pickin
He stole it from
If you could
Chase
just take my fingerprints off it, that'd be great. No, but yeah, this is.
And I like your handwriting.
And these are my notes because when you guys asked me to be on, I really wanted to.
What's in your notes?
What else do we want to touch on there?
Well,
yeah, let's not waste your time you put into that.
But before we start, you got to sip the porter.
okay.
Okay.
It's opposite of sour.
You know, I asked myself, what? Because as I was reminiscing and wanted to think, what's the hardest you've ever laughed? Think about this for a second, right? Because you go back and, Frank's a funny fucker. I mean, I can tell you some of the Gene's camp and everything and the things we laugh about. But I mean, really, really hard, almost pass out. I mean, I've lost consciousness that I've laughed so hard. Yeah. Yeah. I've lost consciousness.
Listening to our show.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker either. Good God.
Oh my God.
Can we get you
All right,
something
no,
else?
I'm done.
All right. He's like,
Done.
fuck this place.
Well, cheers that.
Cheers to that. You got to knock and look at each other, right? Isn't that what you said?
No, we gotta.
Jessica says you had to do this. And
Even look at that. It doesn't even look good.
that looks like baby shit. What is that, Roman?
It's
Is that a Maine beer?
sour
Or
IPA
is that Aurora?
by Aurora Brewing Company.
Okay.
Mazel flowers.
That looks like
Mazel flows.
apple cider. Right?
Pineapple.
Oh, that's
Pineapple, peach, lime, zest, and green tea.
pineapple makes you horny.
It
Right, Jim?
certainly doesn't sound like ingredients that should be in beer. But okay, listen. I guess
It's so-called beer.
I guess I need to venture out. I don't, and again, I don't
So
want to hurt
when I
any
left,
business.
when was the last time I laughed really hard? Is that the
The
question?
hardest you've ever laughed.
Hardest.
Like really just cracked up.
I laughed. One time I laughed so hard, my abs were hurting really
Do you
bad.
remember why?
Oh gosh. I had many of those instances, so I don't remember exactly why.
Right.
But I laughed really hard when we were at Disney and you had to get up after. So we are at Disney watching fireworks. This is
Yeah.
towards the end.
Are you guys together? You guys went together?
Yeah, we went together. Just Frank and I.
Just you and my
But I was coming out of COVID at this point, right? Yeah, I was.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
So I had
that
like
part.
I was in the hospital.
60 pounds lighter and he could see his dick.
So just a tip.
It was 80 pounds.
Just a
80 pounds
tip.
lighter.
I had no conditioning. Yeah.
There was almost no places to sit down, so we there was a little area on the grass we could sit.
It was artificial turf.
Yeah, artificial turf.
This is getting a little personal. But go
So
ahead.
we're sitting there for a while watching all these fireworks and shit. So now it's time to get up, But when you've been walking around all fucking day, you're tired, your feet are killing you, you're sore, and you sat for that long, your body is not ready to get moving again.
Like 25,000 steps.
Yeah. So I think I was next to Frank. It took everything he had in him, physically and mentally, to get up. And he had nothing to grab onto to get up. And there was a family.
Like in A Christmas Story, I can't get up.
Kind of. And then there's another family there, and he couldn't grab onto anybody, and he's getting up and he's pushing. He's like, but
like everything cracked on me.
That's awesome.
Till this day, it's been years now. Till this day, sometimes when we get up, as a joke, we'll go, "Pacha."
It's those moments, right.
Have you ever laughed so hard you shit yourself?
No, I've never. But I have lost consciousness. I've literally lost
from laughing.
Lost consciousness. I've laughed so hard.
So I bet you don't remember why.
I do. I have two incidences where I have. One was, and you know him, my friend Eddie Schluter.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for a company called Mr. Handyman. And I was a handyman. So you went out and you fixed certain things, and yeah, exactly.
Handsy man.
Yeah, I installed ceiling fans, fixed faucets, this kind of thing. And hope Ed listens to this episode because he'll laugh just hearing the story. But it was just one of the most funniest times. So I get a phone call, and this faucet in this shower. It's a 3x3 shower, and I'm 4x4, right? So the shower head is leaking, and the guy just wants it fixed. He wants the guts replaced, right? It's a pretty simple fix. Mm-hmm. You go in and you take the sconce off or whatever, or the scutcheon.
Take the handle.
Right, just take the scutcheon. I can't get the scutcheon off, right? I don't know how this thing comes off. I'm taking photos. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm wrenching on it, and come to find out, it's just I'm twisting it the wrong way. Mm. So eventually I get this faucet apart after cutting it, and I've got to replace it. I got to replace the guy's faucet. So I pull the guts out of the faucet, and unfortunately I didn't realize it at the time, but I
Hold on a second. All right, sorry, Jim, you were saying...
Yeah, so I've got to replace this bathroom faucet in this shower that I barely fit in. So I for some reason, when taking this apart, it's got the guts inside, and I lose this little rubber washer that I found out later. I put the faucet back together, it's still leaking. Put the faucet back together, it's still leaking. Take it apart, put it back together, it's still leaking. Can't figure it out to save my life. I got a friend of mine who's great at this. Now, I'm working for this company. I've been at this person's house from 4 o'clock. It's now like 6 o'clock. It's in the late fall. It's getting dark out early. Mm-hmm. This couple wants to go to dinner. They're like, we're going to go out to dinner. Like, my day's done at 5 o'clock. It's now like 5:30. I call my friend Ed, and I said, Ed, I don't care what you're doing. I don't care what it costs me. You need to get over here and help me. I don't want my boss to know that you're here. And he's going to help me figure this thing out. Because even when I got to either shut off the main water to stop this thing from leaking, because I'm literally missing this one little round washer that just continues to let water pour out. So I've got to shut off the main again. So Ed, I don't care what you're doing. I don't care how much it costs me. I'll give you anything you need. I need you over here right now. He does. He drops what he's doing. He comes over. And here I am in the shower, and he looks at this thing, and the first thing he says, you're missing a little washer here. There's no way I'm going to find this.
It fell in the wall or something?
Yeah, there's no way I'm going to find this insert or whatever. I call Lowe's. No, we don't have it. I call Home Depot. No, we don't have it. Well, we're out there, right? So we go to Home Depot. It's just like the Griswold family Christmas tree where the light was shining on it. I kneel down, and there is this one faucet insert. And I'm like, Ed, I think this is it. Sure enough, it's it, right? We drive back to the house, right? It's now like 7 o'clock. This couple wants to go out to dinner. I got to get this thing. I've been here for 3 hours, and they pay by the hour. It's ridiculous, right? And my boss is going to want to know why what the hell happened, right? Putting this thing all back together. We get it all back together, and if you know anything about these new faucets today, they have these little things that will help you determine how hot you want your water. Mm-hmm. So when you turn it, You put this little clip in there, and it'll never get hotter than that, right? It's a safety thing.
It's like a stop.
Correct. So I turn it on. The water's not all that hot. And he says, you got to adjust that little stop thing, take it all apart again, right? And I go to put it back on, and I'm screwing the thing, right? And I'm screwing it back on, putting it all back together. And he says, you turned off the water, right? Just as he says that, I turn this thing and water. I get a shower. In the shower, I can't move, right?
Because you're wedged in there.
I can't even turn it off anymore. Meanwhile, I literally, and now count down 10 seconds. This is how long this shower's on for. And that's a lot of seconds.
Yeah.
I am soaking wet. I turn the sucker off because I forgot to turn the main off, right? Meanwhile, Eddie's on the ground. He's passing out laughing so hard. I've lost consciousness because I am laughing so hard, and I am dripping soaking wet. Now,
I think you drowned.
You talked about hoarders, Frank. These people are hoarders. They got a dead mouse in a trap over here. That I got it's disgusting. Right? I got nothing. I got no towel. I got nothing. I got my T-shirt, and I'm just trying to dry off. I don't even know what to say anymore, right? Again, I get it all back together, put the discussion back on, and walk upstairs. I'm dripping. The lady goes, honey, why are you all wet?
I was sweating.
I said, do you mind if I take care of your bill tomorrow? I will figure it out. At this point, I don't even know if I have a job anymore.
Right.
But it was one of those times that I literally lost consciousness. Eddie will remember it. And I needed him. He was there. He helped me.
Yeah.
Got me to where I needed to be. But in putting it back together, I had that moment. And it was one of those times that I'll never forget.
I have to say, people who are handy really have ways they'll find a way to fix things.
Oh, that's Eddie.
Well, problem solving. When you're handy, you're a good problem solver.
Yeah.
That's Eddie.
Yeah.
Eddie is the man.
Yeah, he can do a little bit of everything, right?
Yeah. He's just he takes his time, and he's a meticulous thinker. But we've actually fought over it. We've had problems, right? It's like, Ed, stop. Mm-hmm. And you really want the end result, but you don't want to wait that long, right? That's the problem with society today, right? Ed wants to go home. He wants to Google it, wants to look at it, YouTube it, figure it all out. And he'll come up with a solution, and then he'll even, take more time. It's like, dude, just do it.
Yeah.
When we were working at a job not too long ago, where the customer actually got mad at him and said, hey, you've got to stop. And he didn't stop. He wouldn't stop. And the ending result was textbook.
Right. Perfect.
Textbook.
Yeah.
Textbook. And even the couple was okay with the way it was at that point.
Just took too long.
It really did. But in the end, it's perfect.
Yeah.
I'm talking for a guy who's basically in the electrical industry and been an electrician most of his life. 20-year carpentry in this stairwell with a curved handrail with
Spindle.
the spindles. Perfect. Perfect. But it took him a little bit of time. He won't say uncle ever. He won't say uncle ever.
It's okay.
Uncle?
Yeah. He won't quit. He won't quit.
Oh.
It's an American term for giving up. Uncle.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Christmas Story? Did you see the movie Christmas Story?
I have, but
He's holding his arm behind his back. Uncle.
I never put that together.
Yeah, you got to say uncle.
It's Armenian. In Armenian, say that means uncle.
You sound so stupid. I don't even know how to say it.
Maybe it's from your uncle giving you a wedgie before, and I don't know
I give up, right?
where it came from. Uncle.
I tend to overthink things. Like I was doing this house in Skinny Ellis, and we had to remove the basement foundation wall because the way previous owners attached the deck corroded the seal, and it was just collapsing. The concrete was cracked. So I had to somehow support 3 stories of glass windows.
Oh, wow.
That's heavy.
Yeah.
So I engineered the system to hold this whole thing in place when we would take the foundation off. And I was still losing sleep over it. I said, we're not taking that wall down until I thought over all the little things.
Yeah.
Then I had a structural engineer come over to the house and take a look at it. The guy who walks in and goes, what the fuck is going on here? He's like, this house is not going anywhere. You can take that fucking wall out. I was like, are you sure? Please like double check everything. He's like 100%. He starts telling me about all these weight per square inch.
Yeah, coefficients of this.
Yeah, like the way you distributed the weight. He's like, you're over-engineered this whole support thing. I had cables running from one part of the house to the very end where the tensioning.
The turnbuckle?
Turnbuckle.
Yeah, right.
I had steel beams underneath it. I had support up the fucking wazoo. He's like, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, but without the knowledge of doing that, imagine if you didn't do that, right?
Yeah.
And something happened.
Yeah, I'd be fucked. I'd be fucked.
The whole house comes down.
Basically, my thinking was, I know how physics work at the stupid level of my level, and I take the physics of gravity and weight distribution, the loads and all that stuff, and how it can go wrong in all those scenarios. And how do I prevent that?
Right.
And that was my thinking.
Right.
And then after that, you check your insurance policy.
My insurance policy was good for $2 million. So the house was not $2 million. So, yeah, I was just freaking out. But I overdo it, and sometimes my guys would get frustrated. But it's not because it took me too long. It's because I just wanted to make sure that I can sleep okay at night and not think about, like, is that wire going to catch on fire? Is that plumbing going to break and flood the house? Like,
and no one gets hurt, obviously. You know, that's
no.
Right. You don't want anybody to get hurt.
And yeah, I got a nickname, MacGyver. I don't think you guys were with us, but we went to camp. We went camping with some of our friends, and we bought these water guns for the kids, and they needed battery to operate so they can shoot streams of water. Mm-hmm. And my son's wasn't working. I was like, "What the hell? We put the battery in. Like, why isn't it working?" He was missing the spring for the negative connection.
Oh,
okay.
You put aluminum foil in it?
No, I go in the truck. I find some scraps of copper wire. So I used needle nose pliers and I made my own spring. Dropped it in there. They're like, "You fucking MacGyver."
Very cool. That's a good feeling, though.
Yeah, but now like you could play around with the rest of the kids, and that's all it took. It's something stupid.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
What else?
We talked earlier in the beginning of the podcast about my George Bailey moment with that gentleman by the name of Ray Robert, who gave me a shot at a human resource manager as opposed to an inventory manager. Mm-hmm. Really changed the course of my life. Seriously. If I had been hired as an inventory manager, I would have never been an HR manager for Lowe's.
Who was the inventory manager?
Nancy Wheeler.
Oh, I didn't know that. I mean, I know she worked in the back office. I didn't realize she was inventory manager.
Yeah, Nancy Wheeler was, I guess, the ICA or something, Inventory Control Associate or something.
Yeah, because Ray gave me a shot also.
Ray. So whenever I meet anybody, and my kids will laugh if they listen to this podcast, they'll be like, "Okay, Dad, whatever." That George Bailey moment, right, where somebody made a difference in your life. Somebody got you. In other words, if you look back and you ask yourself, at what time, because I look at both of you as being pretty successful, all things considered, right? Podcast, the home,
still working my ass off.
The marriage, right? Well, but again, listen. The other thing about Armenia, right? What are they known for? Armenians,
hair,
a lot of things.
Work ethic.
Oh, I was going to say hair on the body.
Ethic,
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You don't quit. You don't give up.
No.
I mean, I Googled it. I needed to know more about you. I did. Work ethic. Google. What are you known for? Work ethic.
You know how old Armenia is?
Strong work ethic and resilience. See that? See, I wrote it right there. Strong work ethic and resilience. And
true story.
It is a true story because look at you. You're doing 8 different things. Listen, I don't know what your wife does. Maybe she's a doctor. But anyway, you too. I mean, I've been at your house, Frank. My house ain't that big. Anyway.
I don't have 5 bedrooms.
I don't have a camp. I don't have a garage the size of my house. So listen, you want to start getting, laying things out on the table. I guess I'll ask you both. What's your George Bailey moment? Who made a difference in your life to get you to where you are today? I'm not interviewing you. I guess I just asked.
Who made a difference in my life?
To get you to where you are at today. Your life would have went in a different direction had this person not intervened in some way.
That's not apparent.
Not family related?
I don't really care who it is as long as it truly got you to where you are. Right
And if they make their bed, they
well, that too.
I mean, it's hard because, of course, your family is always behind you, like supporting
They're
you.
your cheerleader.
I'm behind you.
Yeah. And then,
That way, Frank.
what do you do back there, anyways?
You can't
Oh,
feel
you
it.
know.
No, it's
Scratch my back.
hot dog down a hallway. You wouldn't know.
You're just always back there. I don't know why. My mom's side of the family has a lot to do with us coming to the States. I don't know. I'm trying to think who in my life. I would say it's a collection of people who played their roles that either made me decide the direction I want to go, to not make the same mistakes, or something that inspired me. I can't pick one person. I just feel like my life has had so many changes, whether where I lived or the environment. Till this day, sometimes I'd be driving and I'm like, I can't believe where I came from and where I live now and what my life is like.
Amen.
Like
That's
still like random. I would just think of that. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy to me. And I can't pinpoint one person.
Great. Well,
I think
thanks for answering that question.
it's a collection.
Frank, what about you? Great answer, Roman. You really knocked that one out of the park.
It's a hard question, man.
Yeah, we're on to Frank now, Roman.
I think mine starts with my stepfather, because he was.
Nothing to do with me hiring you at Builder Square.
I'm getting there, but the more you talk, the less I'm going to mention that. But my stepfather, my mom had 2 kids, and he decides he still wants to proceed, and he kind of, took me as his own son and all these things. And I got another brother that's after that. That's, my half brother. Yeah. But I think he kind of drives a lot of the work ethic part of it. But then from there, you kind of go to John Zen's.
Yeah.
Because I'll say you also, because you were part of when I had met you. I was probably only in my early 20s.
We both were.
You were older than me, Jim. But
how old are you now?
I am 52.
Oh yeah, I guess I was.
Yeah. So I'm a sexy 52. But
after COVID.
And someone mentioned something. Someone mentioned something earlier about how we were drunk. Maybe it was you, Roman. Like,
I asked if you were sober when you answered the phone call.
So, but in those years, we drank a lot. And there's a lot of that was fuzzy and hazy and shit. Like, family, nothing. So there was some direction there that I'm sure you were part of, because you gave me that job that was a full-time position that kind of helped me drive to where I am.
Right.
But then you kind of get these people along the way, just certain people that I don't think there's one individual that definitely made a life choice for me more obvious. Yeah. But there was definitely coaches along the way. Even my coach in high school, like football, wrestling, all these, they kind of help you and guide you. And I think that's what people are. I don't have a person that I'm like, fuck, I could have gone this way within a day. I was just kind of on the right path the whole way. And then you kind of veer off, if you're, driving a car on the road and you start falling asleep, you hit a rumble strip. One of those coaches or one of those people were my rumble strip.
You're back in the center.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it depends on people's situation. In some people's situation, they might have been the one person. Yeah. Others might have been, 2 or 3 people.
Well, so what was your family life like, if you want to talk about it?
Oh yeah. Well, I had a brother with Down syndrome who was the purpose of my life for a long period of time. He passed away in 2017. I miss him terribly, and he really was just.
Mikey?
Yeah. He was just the coolest dude you ever want to meet. He just loved life. He loved everybody and loved women. He was, again, like I said, my purpose in life. I had a stepfather.
Yep.
He was, in fact, up until it was legal and I was 18, I was known as Jim Coda. I took his last name, but not legally.
Sure.
And, they say thank God for unanswered prayers because we had a falling out, my stepfather and I, and it never came back.
Till this day?
Yeah, he has since passed. But after my mother passed away before he did. And we had, and he didn't do the things that my mom wanted. My mother inherited some money, you know, and money divides family. I don't covet money at all. You can have it all. I've never cared about it. But my father, I called him my father for years.
Same.
He made some poor decisions after my mother passed away. And
monetarily, you're talking about?
Both.
Yeah.
Both monetarily, and then when he ran out of the very large inheritance, he came and took my brother to Florida, which my mother had tried to take him there years prior to give my father what he wanted, which is the retirement life in Florida. But he lived a life he never saved for after my mother passed away. And we just you know, I wanted him to do the right thing when it came to my brother. My brother belonged to New York State. For anybody who knows, New York State is the greatest state in our union for kids with disabilities. So when he ran out of some money, he took my brother because he was worth a couple $1,000s a year based on his Social Security or disability or whatever it was. It just didn't go. It didn't go well. But I had an incredible mother, and she was just the best. But back then, you could stay at home, right? Yeah. My brother Bill, who I still get along with very much today. We have some different views on some certain things, but we agree to disagree, and we don't talk about those things that divide us. So we try to find a common ground.
But it's even okay to do that.
It is, between him and I. So I'm glad with that. I told you before the podcast started that I was estranged with a couple of my sisters, which is new to me. I've never really experienced that before this. Yeah, maybe I'll try that. And that's been hard, but
Send the Roman.
Oh, send it to Roman.
Sorry.
I have a great.
How many sisters do you have? Sorry.
I have 2 half sisters, same mother, different father.
Okay. Yep.
And I have a stepsister. Her name is Sandy. I have a stepbrother. His name is Dennis.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that.
You know what I found out is legally after my mom passed away, my stepfather got remarried. They have no ties or bound right? If my stepfather got remarried. So even legally, there's nothing. There's no
legal tie family.
There's nothing.
Familial. Right.
It's over. But today, I'm close with my brother. Listen, I have an incredible relationship with my 3 kids, which is very, very important to me. I was going to have 7 girls if it took me to have 1 boy. I wanted a boy more than anything. Everybody says, hey, what do you want? Well, I want it to be healthy. Yeah, no shit. Who doesn't want their kid to be healthy?
Right.
I'm telling you, what do you want? You knew when you had a boy. Maybe you didn't share it with anybody, but you knew. You knew what you wanted, whether it was a girl or whether it was a boy. You knew what you wanted.
You're going to love him either way, but you still want something.
Exactly. I wanted a boy. First kid came out as a girl. I was like, yeah, that's cool. I love you. Second kid came out as another girl. I'm like, you fucking kidding me right now? All right, I'm going to love you too, I'm like, Chris, let's go. Right? I would have had 7 girls if it took me to have 1.
How about 8 girls? Would you have 8 girls or no?
I would have.
Okay.
I would have.
I don't know if the 7 was some weird number.
And guess what? I'm closer today with my girls than I am with my son.
Yeah.
I love him to pieces, but he's got his own life and he's me, right? He's living his life and doing his thing. And again, he lives in Baldwinsville. So he's 4 miles or 5 miles away where my girls are 2 miles away. I'm close to him too. I'm very close with all of my kids. And I just adore that, So life
I think it's normal. Like if you're a guy, you're like, I want a boy. I want to do all these things with my son. You know what I mean? Like I feel that way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. I'm sure my wife was like, I want a daughter, and I was like, I want a son.
The one reality of that, I wanted a son so that I can name him after my stepfather.
Did you?
I did.
Yeah. Good.
Nice.
Yeah.
My wife picked my son's name. And I was like, sounds good.
What is his name?
Same.
Oh, same.
Yeah.
Well, and I got a daughter, but I mean, she could do the boy things. I only have 1 child, but she does boy things. It doesn't matter. I mean,
no, I don't. Yeah, it's not like boy thing, girl thing. I think it's what I was saying is if you're a guy, you look forward to those things. And that's why you say like, I want a boy, right?
Sure. Yeah.
For me, if I wanted a boy, it would only be so I could wrestle you and like kind of be fucking rough.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I did that with my daughter, but the rough with a daughter is different than rough with a boy.
Yeah. Because she'll fuck you up.
Oh. Plus, I got a wife to deal with. She's a secondary black belt.
Is she really?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a teacher.
Yeah.
She'll
Need to be that today.
roundhouse you on the tip of your nose.
Tip of something.
My daughter's a social worker for Baldwinsville. She gets beat up every day.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
That's a whole nother podcast.
It's a good school district, but that particular area of work is very unforgiving.
They're doing things differently, though.
Yep.
Frank. There's no consequences for your actions. Gentle parenting. I love my kids. I hope they listen to this podcast, and they know how I feel. Gentle parenting is not working.
No.
When you try to negotiate with a 4 and 5 year old, 6 year old, try to figure out why they threw the truck at their brother instead of
Well, no one's saying go beat them, but like it's okay to discipline.
Yeah.
Listen, my brother and I, at an early age in Arizona, were bent over the bed and whipped with my father's belt. We don't do that anymore. We've evolved. I get it.
Yeah.
But to negotiate, to sit down and ask a 6-year-old why he threw the truck at his brother's head,
Right.
and what was he thinking before he did it, and how does he feel afterwards?
That's right.
Well, I think
That's when you surfboard that kid. You throw him on the bed. He doesn't eat that night, and he doesn't do it again.
Right.
having a consequence, not so much for physical suffering, but more of like a consequence, like so for my son, for example, he goes on the iPad, he's hanging out with his friends on the iPad, they play their games or whatever. Well, the consequences for not doing your homework on time or neglecting it or not prioritizing or whatever, I'm taking your iPad away. So you need to understand that for your certain actions, there will be consequences. So that's my way of disciplining. And of course, having a conversation. But at the time when you're like pissed off at your kid, you're like, fuck, what'd you do?
Yeah.
You didn't do your math homework? Like taking all the shit away. Then later we'll talk about it.
The key to that is doing what you say and saying what you.
That's right.
Meaning what you say and saying what you
Stick
mean.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So you can even set up the discipline so that's easy on you, right? But when you don't do that and you don't set those boundaries,
Yeah. No follow through is no good. Yeah.
no follow through.
Yeah. And I
My
tell,
kids are doing a great job. My grandkids are awesome kids. I don't want to take that away from them. They're doing it differently.
We're all in different ranges. Like
Yeah.
They're doing it differently.
your kids are older than my daughter. My daughter's older than your son.
and everyone's family and structure and upbringing and discipline is going to be different. There is no like set one that works for all families. One thing is conversation, is really talking about issues and problems. I think conversation is important. So like, look, I love you. I tell my son, I love you. I'm upset because it comes from love. It's like I'm worried that you might fail or something might happen. That's why I'm upset. Yeah. I don't hate you. I love you unconditionally.
Unless you don't make your bed.
Yeah. So, it's different. And I've learned through how I grew up, how I want to bring up my son, or not, and how I see people around me, how they raise their families. I almost like learn things. I'm like, oh, I want to adapt that. Oh, I don't want to do it that way. Yeah. But I get it. I'm going to do it differently.
Right.
Right. Nobody has like a guidebook when you become a parent. You kind of learn all this stuff.
Today, when you give, I give my kids advice, and unfortunately, they're educated today, right? I mean, I have a high school education.
Well, a parent never knows more than their kids, according to their kids.
Exactly,
Right.
and that's what I'm talking about. Listen, I don't want you to choose door number 2 because that's what I want. I want you to choose door number 2 because I chose door number 1, and I got this.
Right.
I know what you're going to. And I mean, let's talk about debt, right? Because that's one thing that I've been in, and that's one thing that I'm trying to educate my kids in. You can't do it. The whole system's designed to keep us right where we're at. Right? And interest is the cancer in the financial world. You never get out of it.
Yep.
You get the credit cards, they're awful. They're just
House is the only thing that probably makes sense.
You have to, right? We've got to have a roof over our head, but there is no credit cards. I mean, look at the percentage rates today. And I'm continually talking to my kids about, listen, you'll never get ahead. Never get out of it. And it's created that way.
And you got to live with that stress. That's like just a weight on you, just pushing you down.
It's massive.
Yeah. I'm hoping for that we can provide our son a financial freedom. Not so much we support that, but more for like set him up in the right direction now.
Not give it to him, but give him the opportunity to earn, right?
Set him up in the right direction now, so that going forward he understands better how to manage money, where to invest. His parents worked so hard to get him in that situation. Don't fuck it up. That's my hope. That
I wish I could have done a better job for my kids.
Yeah.
In the financial arena.
I've seen your kids. I think you're doing
Well,
good.
I think again, they're fantastic. They're definitely educated. They're they shake your hand, look at your eyes. I mean, they get it. They're great kids. But like you said, I'd like to set it up. I'd like to be able to help them out more than I've been able to in certain scenarios.
Yeah.
Right? I'm always there for them. Dad, I need this. Dad, I need that. Or we need this done. We need, here you go. Here you go. Here you go. It's nothing extra. It's nothing.
I think that I would just feel like I'm old. I'm gonna die soon. I would be like, I'm calm. I know he's all set. Whether it's just him or grandkids, they're good. Like that's not something I die with. You know what I mean? So knowing
Split the
that
equity in the house 3 ways and go your own way. That's it, kids.
Do you guys follow this whole drone thing?
Yeah, but I'm a firm believer that what the American people don't know is what makes us the American people. They know why they're there. They know where they are. And
America absolutely knows what's going on.
Yeah. And they just keep. It's interesting. It really is. I'm intrigued by it. Right.
Well, so they're saying like they could be looking for nuclear waste, radioactive waste, something like this, radioactive stuff. But then I just read today that something in Spain, selenium, we talked about, 14 maybe, didn't arrive in Spain like it was supposed to. Now they know where the package is.
They know where it is?
They do not.
Oh, they don't.
Yeah, so like now I'm thinking like, you have all these terror plots that were planned along the way, 9/11, and they hit the Pentagon, they were heading here and all these places. Now, who is trying to obtain this radioactive material?
Well,
so you're saying the drones are ours and they're looking for it?
I think the drones are ours. Because I saw some guy on TV or X.
They're the size of cars,
right?
They're not your.
Not all of them. Like
some of them, the ones that we're talking about.
Yeah, and so he says and this guy's all over now for his statement on X. He makes drones for the military. He's got one behind him. He shows I do this. He goes, I don't care if you believe me or not. I don't give a fuck, right? But he's like, there's no reason for a drone to be flying at night because they can't see shit. And you have IR, that's it, right? But he said you can equip these things with sniffers. They can detect methane gas, I think it was, or radioactive material. So then they showed a map. And it's got all these drone sighting dots, all on the East Coast. And he says he thinks that they're looking for some sort of radioactive material or some sort of trigger, because someone said something about Reagan was decommissioning these nukes in his era, whatever it was. There's all these nukes. One of them is unaccounted for. But they somehow reference Ukraine. I'm like, how the fuck?
Yeah. So I also heard about someone saying how like North Korea is capable of disassembling and reassembling certain like nuclear warheads or whatever. And they were concerned that if they got hold of any of that stuff, maybe they want to assemble it in the States. And those are our drones just looking for them,
Here's what I again, conspiracy theories or whatever.
Yeah.
All I know is some time ago, maybe it was a few years ago, a balloon flew into our atmosphere.
Yeah, it was recently.
Correct, right?
Yeah.
Last year. But it's
We knew
happening.
exactly what it was. We knew where it was from. We shut it down.
Yeah.
That's it. No questions asked.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't tell me these drones are flying around. Nobody's got any answers for it.
Yeah.
When this balloon entered our territory, right? We looked into it. We had our answers, and we knew exactly what it was, when it was, and we took care of it.
It did kind of take too long to shoot it down.
But there was also balloons before then that they didn't do fuck all about. But
What the American people don't know is what makes us the American people.
I have a bigger problem with hypersonic missiles.
Yeah.
Because Russia has one now that they launched against Ukraine. It travels at Mach 10. It's 3,800 miles a second or some bullshit. Like you blink, it's gone. But then the U.S. is developing one that I think can go to Mach 17. But your reaction time to like, do you shoot it down or do you not, is basically like you don't have any reaction time.
It's amazing something can travel that fast and not like disintegrate.
Because they're also nuclear warhead capable. The Russian ones are. I don't know if ours are yet.
We live in tremendous times.
Oh man,
I don't want to be here 20 years from now. 30 years. Well, wait a second. 56, 30. I don't want to be here 40 years from now.
Yeah.
It's going to be
You're going to leave us with all this bullshit.
What was the thought right now through your head? How did you calculate that?
Listen, I don't want to leave in 20 years. That'd be make 76. I'd like to.
Okay. So he was thinking when I want to die.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'd like to live to 89, 90.
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to make it, but
I was just wondering.
Whatever.
Fucking 89. Like, I want to die in an even number.
Yeah.
I can't be 89.
Really up to.
I want to be divisible. I want to be divisible by 2.
69.
You can't. It's got to be even.
No.
Like 70s, 35.
I don't know.
Am I an island here, you fuckers? Like,
no, I get what he's saying. I get what 69.
Yes, thank you. That's where I thought he would react to.
No, I don't really care. We've already done all that.
Yeah.
We touch on all your points there, Jim?
We did. I'm really excited for your future. I'm stoked for it. I want to contribute to your success in any way that I can, whether it's promoting your podcast and getting the word out there. I think looking back at where you guys have come from over the course of the last year, and even the thoughts that I had.
Well, you know where I've come from since '92.
I do.
Yeah,
I do. I think it's tremendous. I mean, look at this room. I mean, if 10 weeks ago I would be in your basement, shoulder to shoulder.
Fucking 3 weeks ago you would have.
Right. So you guys are on the right path. Don't give up. And I mean, Armenians don't usually give up. So
no, we'll definitely work towards it.
Yeah, I'm really excited for your future, and I look forward to be a part of it. The only question I asked you in the beginning is, when Joe Rogan makes his multi-million dollars, how far out does the money trickle out? Like, where am I on the friendship tree? I mean, maybe I can give my kids, more than I'm capable of, just because I know Roman and Frank.
No,
that's my desire, that you guys make.
Yeah, we take care of people that take care of us. We're both very loyal people.
We're not Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's in a different
stratosphere.
Yeah,
You'll get there, right?
Yeah,
just like high.
He's I listen to his podcast, and I think it's very entertaining, and I like that kind of platform.
YouTube.
3 hours. I can't even keep up with it. 3 hours a day he does for podcasts. Like I can't even listen to it.
We've been here almost. 2.
Yeah, but he does it every day. We do it once a week.
Well, I don't know if we. Do you know he does it every day?
Isn't there a 3 hour podcast like every day?
Well, we don't know when he recorded. When's what?
Well, who gives a fuck?
But I don't even think they come out every day. No, it's not.
I thought they did.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Oh,
I'm addicted to YouTube.
Yeah, you got any favorite shows? Followers?
The Collector.
Well, the Deal Guy. The Deal Guy is the guy who tells you what's on sale at Costco and.
Oh, I know that guy.
Addiction.
I know that guy.
These are the top 10 things you should. Right?
See, look at what a fucking great.
My brother always
ad voice,
to me.
These are the top 10 things you should be buying at Costco.
All right, so make up right now. You are the DJ at a strip club, and announce me and Roman on stage doing our first duet shower.
What?
I don't know. I just use that voice. These are the next two guys.
Why were you even thinking of that?
Because he's got like an ad
Ladies
voice.
and gentlemen, put your hands together for Roman and Frank.
See?
That was fucking
That's what it
cool.
sounds like.
Yeah, man.
Show us your love.
Let's get ready.
Let's get ready to
watch these two soak themselves up in oil, and you just
take it back to Jim's handyman days.
Okay,
all wet.
Here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna.
That's a great fucking ad voice.
Fucking perfect. We're gonna come up with a script for you.
come up with a script. I'd love to do it for you.
And we'll get that recorded.
Yeah,
I'd like that a lot.
And we definitely appreciate your support and your kind words.
Yeah, thanks for.
I appreciate you guys. I listen. This is exciting.
Thanks for dressing the part, and that was pretty cool. Hope you didn't have a hard time taking the ring off your finger.
No.
Hey, don't worry, because it's loose on Roman's dick also.
How would you know that?
Because I play ring toss
with your mouth.
I put it on with my mouth.
Yeah, thanks for coming, Jim.
Thanks for having me.
It was fun. We always encourage our friends to come over, join, have fun.
Yeah, I'd
share
like
a
to
drink.
do it again after maybe another 50 or 40 episodes.
Yeah,
I'll
we
be
don't-
back. I'll take some more notes.
We don't have to wait that long.
Yeah, how about quicker than that?
Hey, write that ad, and I'll get that done for you right away.
I love it. That's it.
Live. We'll figure it out.
Unlive.
Live, we'll figure that out.
Yeah, so
You're tuning into Brews and Banter.
it's perfect. We do plan to do some live things, hopefully somewhere in the future, like maybe some MC type stuff,
Yeah.
But
I also want to do something this year for like a charity event.
Mhm.
And actually, our friend Carlos, he's going to be running a Chicago Marathon, but he has to raise money for a charity.
Mhm.
And he's raising money for who's that football player who went into Army and
Pat Tillman.
Pat Tillman.
Yeah.
Thank you. He's raising money for Pat Tillman Foundation.
Yep. Was
and-
killed by a friendly fire, by the way.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But
Yeah, big things to come for us, but support with you, and hopefully you'll come back as soon as we can have you. I mean, we've got a lot of things lined up, and people know that, and check us out on the Hopped Up Network. We got some other stuff coming up here with some other platform changes we may have. So
yeah, exciting interviews for sure. That'll be fun.
all right,
Yeah.
Hey, Hopheads, Frank here.
And Roman, welcome to Brews and Banter, the podcast where we sip and spill the funniest stories over a cold one.
We're not just brewing laughs and comedy. We also discuss life stories and current events in every episode.
Follow the frolic on our socials, where we brew up more than just banter. Check out linktree/brews and banter for all the goods.
And guess what? We've got a VIP section. Join our Patreon for exclusive content, behind-the-scenes brew secrets, and maybe even a blooper reel or two.
Subscribe, laugh, and unlock the full Brews and Banter experience. Because life is too short for bad beer and boring stories. Cheers.